What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's a new week, and we're going to discuss the 5 habits that can quickly turn into mistakes if you don't take care of them now. So here we go. All right, so mistake number 1. This sounds really, really simple, and when you hear me say this, you're going to be like, yeah, duh. But it's honestly one that a lot of people in the moment, they're not paying attention to. And that's simply playing too hard. Now, I have been in many types of environments where I couldn't hear myself. And so I started digging in and playing harder just to hear myself. Now, that affects the quality of sound so much. And I'm going to show you. So I'm playing on the E string, 3rd fret. That's the note of G. So, helps to have volume. All right. So a lot of times when I'm just playing and it's a normal song and we're grooving, this is about where my volume is, as far as how the energy that I'm putting into the strings when I'm playing. Now, out in the audience, it may sound louder because that's the sound man. But this is usually the tone and the quality of how I'm plucking my strings. Now, if the song's more relaxed, so in my normal tone, if this song that we're playing just really starts pumping and we're just like going after it and there's a lot more energy that we're putting in it, I can actually dig in a little more and I can get a lot more bite out of my tone. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is great. But it's when you start doing stuff like this that the quality of your sound is no longer pleasing. It's kind of like, what's happening? And so I know growing up, I would watch metal bands. Now there's a level of theatrics in watching the bass player or the guitar player jump around and doing their thing. But they have developed their technique to where they can control their tone and still look like they're going crazy. And so there's a level of theatrics that sometimes that we're seeing when it looks like there's just a crazy amount of energy coming off the stage. But ultimately, they've learned how to control their tone. They've learned how to control their string volume, all of it. So habit 2 that's really important to develop, or else it'll become a bad mistake that you have to figure out how to develop. And that's something as simple as muting. Muting, there we go. Muting is so important. Now, if you watch what I'm doing, I've got my left hand just laid across my strings. Now, if I'm holding down the G, you notice that I have my hand placed in a way where it's holding down the other strings. Now, sound will still come out of those strings if I pluck across, but they're not going to ring out. And so I'm muting these strings. Now, if I choose, like depending on the song, and I want to go down a string across my fretboard, so let's say we go to the next string on the 3rd fret, that's going to be my C. Now, I have taken my thumb off of the pickup and brought it down to my E string, and I'm using my thumb to mute my E string. And my other hand is still laying across the strings below. So all that's playing is the note C on the A string, okay? And that goes across all the strings. So if you notice, I've moved down a string, my thumb has moved down a string. Now I'm using my thumb to mute the E string. And my hand is still muting the strings over here. If I move down again, same thing happens. I'm using my hand my right hand, my thumb to mute these strings. And it's just a process where I'm moving up and down. So I want you to practice this. Start on the E string and move down. And what you want to do is just be able to move down easily. And most of y'all aren't going to have that high C string. So just take the opportunity to practice that. Mistake number 3, I'm guilty of this, and y'all have probably noticed it at times. When you slow down and focus on the metronome like at 60 beats per second, it's really easy to rush the beat. It opens up a whole world of opportunities for you to learn and strengthen your internal metronome. And when I say rush the beat, your metronome is making that click sound, and you start playing before the click. You're trying to anticipate it. And a lot of times you have to slow down a little bit and relax in order to feel it. And that's something that develops over time. And so I really encourage y'all, work with a metronome. I've been pushing the app on the phone, the Soundbrenner app. It's a wonderful app. You can go in there and it'll take care of all your metronome needs. You don't need anything crazy. If you want to work with a drum loop, if you go to last week's lesson, in the description, there's a link to a drum loop that I created. It's the one I used in the video. It's 5 minutes long. You can work with that. It's a free download. Mistake number 4, and I'm talking to myself mostly here because I know that you are a diligent student and you practice all the time, and there's nothing wrong with you. I get distracted by a lot of people's amazing skills and the techniques that they just wow me. And so I want to learn that stuff. And so if I don't practice the fundamental foundational things, it will not allow me to grow into a place where I can actually play those things. You got to learn how to walk before you can learn how to run. So if we are practicing a lot of random things and not actually developing our skill, it could actually pull us away and make the process longer in order for us to grow. So, mostly me, I know it's not you. One thing I want to show you, and it's a little plug, on all my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'll put links in the description below. I'm going to start putting out videos of finger independent workouts, and I'm going to show you the first one. So what you're going to do is put your index finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, followed by the next fret, next fret, next fret. And so you should have all 4 fingers like this. Now that may feel uncomfortable. It's actually more uncomfortable down here. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go. And you want to make sure you hear clear notes. And it'd be easy for especially the pinky finger, because the pinky finger is a lot of times very weak. And you get that rattle sound. And so this is an opportunity to work on where you place your fingers and learn how to place them in a way where you're getting that note. Now, here comes the tricky part, and this is more finger independence. You're going to take your index finger and you're going to move it to the A string on the 3rd fret. It's going to be something like this. And then follow each finger like so. All fingers are still on the strings, so there is tension. So I think one of my strings is out of tune. So as you do that, you'll have to adjust your thumb on the back of the neck. You're going to feel the need to put your fingers in a place where you got them higher up like this, curled, and not so much like this. And so the more you can practice keeping your fingers curled, the easier it'll be to do other things later on. If you keep your fingers flat like this all the time, unless you're muting or something like that, it does make it harder when you start skipping strings and moving, because all of a sudden you're going to be muting everything. And when you need to get your fingers out of the way, it's not going to be a natural feeling for you. So mistake number 5, and this can be interpreted many different ways. It's playing like a pro too early. And honestly, what this means is that you're trying to use a skill set that you haven't developed yet. Now, I am not a slap player. And so for me to teach slap, I can teach the basic fundamental idea of what people are doing. But I'm not a slap player. It's not going to sound good as of right now. So for me to take on any kind of song where they have a lot of slap in it, it's not going to sound good. And so realizing where you're at and the capabilities that you've currently overcome but still have to overcome is going to be really important. Know where you're at. Know where your skill set's at. The humility in that place is going to allow you to grow. If you're a new bass player, I want to thank you so much for watching the videos. And I really hope that they are helping you develop your ability to hear, your ability to play, and just your ability to grow. And so, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. And if you know any other bass players, please share it with them. I would love the opportunity to help anybody I can learn how to fall in love with something that I love. So, I'll see you in the next video.